spooky nerds, and welcome to Talking Strange, a paranormal pop culture show with the Den of Geek Network. I'm your host, journalist, explorer of the weird, and occasional TV host, Aaron Sagers, currently seen on Travel Channel and Discovery Plus's Paranormal Caught on Camera. And if you were at Dragon Con, that's still where I am as we are doing this show, as you can tell by the lovely hotel blinds behind me, where at Dragon Con we did a live episode of Talking Strange, and that was a lot of fun. And as much fun as that was, I'm really excited to talk to this gentleman today. He's, I would say, an old friend, old acquaintance, and also he is I guess, three-peater on our Talking Strange show. He appears on Resident Alien, which airs Wednesdays at 10 p.m. on Syfy. And if you haven't followed Resident Alien, you should, because it is a show about a crash-landed alien named Harry Vanderspiegel, whose secret mission is to kill all humans until, over the course of the 2 seasons, he decides maybe he actually wants to save them. And the man residing in the Resident Alien is known for his roles in Rogue One, Frozen, Moana, Wreck-It Ralph, the crowdfunded Con Man series. He also has appeared in Firefly, Dodgeball, 42, Trumbo, and Kanta, all over the place. This guy's a busy guy. And also currently the HBO Max series Harlequin. Without further ado, because we don't want to give any more ados, Alan Tudyk.
Hey!
Hey, man.
Yes, you're talking strange.
Yeah.
Let me provide the strange. There we are.
You know, how
are you?
I feel like all future guests, we could make this an entire bit. It's Talking Strange, but all future guests, it could be me talking in front of window treatments to guests in front of window treatments.
This is not a window treatment.
Is it not?
No, this is a wall divider made by Eames. Whatever. It's a furniture designer. It's not that big a deal. It's just pushed up against this wall because it doesn't have a place in my home anymore. Things are shifting. Things are moving, man. It's just, you get older, things move around. This might not be Eames. Somebody's going to write into you and say, that's not Eames. It's the other one.
The other one.
The two names.
Fact-checking room dividers, wall dividers.
I used to have a desk by him. Anyway, whatever. How you doing, man? You've survived yet another Dragon Con. That's not easy to do.
No, I feel a little bit like Donald Glover in Lethal Weapon when I do these events now, because somehow I still end up out quite late at night, and then I think I am getting too old for this shit.
Man. The last one I went to, I did Dragon Con, and then I went to Toronto to do their Comic-Con because I was promoting some Con Man version of, I guess maybe it was season 2. And so I was doing both in the same weekend. And I had to leave at 4 a.m. to get on a plane. I was walking through the lobby at 4 a.m. and it was still bumping. There was drunk people everywhere. There was when I say bumping, there was a doors open in some kind of room with lights are still going and is happening. And then out to where I got the car, there was a girl vomiting and a cop consoling her. But I'm not sure the cop was actually a cop or what. I don't think it might have just been another cosplayer. I don't know. I just walked away and it was much calmer in Toronto.
I do recall that because I think that was my last Dragon Con because I took a couple of years off. Well, there was stuff happening in the world and then other things, but that was an event where I was working with Syfy at the time as a host and a producer, and I did your panel for Con Man, and then I knew you had to jet set out of there to go to Toronto.
Right, man.
But Dragon Con is one of those events that it's like you wander into the wrong room and suddenly it's a party dedicated to some sort of Super Mario fetish. And it's like, well, there's Mario and Luigi and Wario and assless chaps. And,
and The Shining, that moment where that furry looks up from the guy's lap.
Exactly. and yet you're just like, Yeah, it's Jack Nicholson at the end of Chinatown. It's Chinatown, Jake. It's Dragon Con, Jake. Don't try to make sense of it. But with that said, I really have been enjoying. I love the hell out of the first season of Resident Alien,
Thanks,
and
man.
I've really been enjoying the second season. I know you guys aired a bunch of episodes, and then you took a bit of a spring or winter hiatus, and now you're back and in full force. And the world of Harry Vanderspiegel and Patience, Colorado has gotten so much bigger, and so the universe has expanded, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the I guess the question with all of that is, was that Chris Sheridan's plan from the beginning, assuming you got the second season, or was this like writers and creators deciding, oh crap, we have a hit on our hands, now we've got to come up with more, we got to make more?
I don't know the actual answer to that question. I'm not in the writer's room, so I don't get to see how that part of the sausage is made. I know that it wasn't pre-pitched to me. So I hadn't heard about it until last season. As far as
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about the portals and things. That kind of thing, like where
Yeah.
yeah, the multiple no, that I think that came about in season 2. How it came about, like the actual was it like a wait, I got an idea at 4 in the morning, or was it like a all right, now we get to execute my plan? Or I don't know. But I really like that image of the seabirds coming out of a portal and catching fire and dying. That was nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it happened in it just happened in season 2. This isn't yeah. This doesn't come from a book series, so they're kinda making it up every season. It
Mm-hmm.
does come from comics, but the comics are different, and we
Yeah,
pulled it's a different thing. You've read them.
yeah, different level of scope, and that's why when you do an adaptation, this is a great example, because you're taking the spirit of the world and then you're expanding it, and
Right.
and showing the other stories that we can tell. For you, obviously you're a busy man, and you are known for taking on so many different roles, and this seems like, is this the longest extended role that you've taken thus far?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I had another role a little bit longer a while ago, but he was a supporting role, and it was, for Suburgatory, but
Right.
it wasn't that challenging. This character is very challenging in, physicality and in just in the thinking of it, just sort of just getting your head around him. Because he's an alien and pretending to be a human, and sort of what does he know, what doesn't he know, how how much, because he's learned emotions now, or he's learning emotions, like what, so where does that exist? There a lot of it's up to me to kind of police and to stay on top of, so that if I'm not policing it, I feel like it would go in different directions. But I have to be like, I need to be kind of on focused. I got to stay focused. Damn it!
I
That's what
I
they.
I feel it. That
That's what
I,
they pay me for, is for the focus. It's not
well,
the
and you
actual
have to
job. It's staying focused.
you now have to be focused for another season, because
Wow.
I believe it was during Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, it was announced that you've been greenlit for a third season. Congratulations!
Yes, thank you.
And how has this made you think about where you're at in your career and what you want to do next, since you will now be the lead of a show that's going on 3 seasons? You're knocking out
Right.
16 episodes for second season. How's that thought make you think about the next stage,
Hmm.
or what you want out of this?
I don't know. I have some ideas. I like doing this job. It's fun. It's comedy. Uh, but it's done in an hour format, so there's serious moments there. This is the kind of comedy I like, as far as uh, like the last episode. You've got to alien. I mean, it can be so silly. It can be very physical because he doesn't understand his body very much, or he's in an alien form. And I mean, there was one just the bits of me bumping my head into the shit. That was just a series of me bumping my head into shit and saying, "Son of a bitch!" That was, and then it escalated to "mother of a whore." I mean, that's really kind of was a little section of an episode this season. I love that. And just, him getting lingo wrong and stuff like that. That's a lot of fun. I don't know what I do next. I think it's a really good question. I feel like a lot of people have told me, and it remains to be seen. So we'll see. I've been told by many people, gosh, I couldn't have seen anybody else doing this role but you. Like, this seems like this is the perfect role for you because it sort of plays into all the things that I have done or can do. Like, you've seen bits and pieces of this insanity in different roles I've done, all crammed into one. And the robots, the CGI, the physicality of all that stuff, sci-fi for sure, the humor and the comedy that I've done in the past. But I'm wondering, is it going to be my Urkel? That's the fear. That's the fear that, like, every 2-3 months I'll wake up in the middle of the night and go that's the thing. It becomes not just nobody else could do this, it becomes this is all you can do. You know what I mean?
But we're also talking about not a role that not your first roll out of the gate, not your
It's
first
true.
break, and
true.
not the only thing that you would be known for, considering
Right.
I mean, I keep up with you anyhow, but then I pop onto IMDb and things like that just to be like, have I missed anything in research? And I'm like, damn, boy's got like a bunch of other projects I wasn't even aware of on the horizon. So it's not like this is necessarily the only thing.
That's true. That's my actor insecurity. I do find that in this time off, since we did 16 episodes this last season, and it was very it was hard. It was hard, it was a hard season. That I've turned down more work than I've accepted. And I think that's new. So I don't know what that portends or anything. I just don't want to do anything. Just anything. It's not that I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do just anything. A lot of times I've done things because I could do a project because I like a moment in the whole script. I'm like, oh, I gotta play that one moment. This looks like a fun bit to do. Or I've worked with directors that haven't done much, and it's a low budget thing, but it's got a great story to it, and just gone, you know what? Let's give it a shot. I've kind of been burnt on a couple of those. It's like, I don't know that I want to just jump in on somebody who filmmaking is very hard, and when the lower the budget, the harder it becomes. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean that big budget movies are easy by any stretch. Those tend to have their own complications, but yeah, it can be frustrating to work with someone who's learning as they go. I don't like knowing more than my director. I like the person in charge to know more than me.
Yeah.
Because it's not really my place to tell a director how to direct. I mean, you're collaborating, but I think that says it better. I like my director to know more than me. So I've been saying no a lot.
In this newest episode, Harry, a Parent, which just aired, we have Harry essentially learning how to be a bad parent from Asta's newly discovered mom. Even though this is not necessarily, while Harry is on this quest for this little alien baby that's out there, it's not as if he's ready to be a proud daddy. It's just that alien baby has information he needs. Still,
Yeah.
how might this encounter with Asta's long lost mom shape him?
I gotta kind of remember this because I haven't. You've seen more than me at this point, but I did it. How might Asta's long lost mom shape him?
Especially because we're
Right,
cheating
because
here because I've already seen a couple episodes ahead, so I can
yeah.
also answer that. But we can't get there.
So how does it do it? How does it? I don't remember. We shot it so fucking long ago,
Let me
and they
tell you
don't
about
show.
this show that you're on. It's called
Well,
Resident Alien.
but see, here's the thing. Why do I not know? I should have seen these. Um, um,
What?
all I have to do is tell Chris Sheridan, "Hey, you gotta let me see these things," and he'll let me see them. So why don't
There,
I do that?
there's this beat, and it's in the same episode, so it's not spoiling
Okay.
anything. But after they have this very terrible interaction with Asta's
Yeah,
mom, who
who was played very wonderfully. I remember I really liked the actress who played it. She was a local actress. So I'll remember things like that. Like, oh, I like how
yeah,
she's playing this. She didn't play her as this awful person. She just played her as a person who just didn't give a shit about
yeah,
being a mom. And not everybody's supposed to be a mom.
apathy can be a really difficult lack of emotion to play. It seems like, and
Yeah.
that's kind of how she did it. And then there's this moment in the car afterwards. Asta and Harry are talking, and he tries to
Right.
make her feel better, and then they're just kind of riffing on how much of a piece of crap the mom was.
Right.
But
Right.
he kind of comments in the VO that it's I forget precisely, but it's about being bad parents. But it does seem like he gained some sort of awareness out of this.
Yes.
I can kind of skip ahead. I mean, if you don't have anything to say about that, there's the really big
Okay.
moment in the episode that just aired that we could
Uh-huh.
talk about, and
Is.
that
Oh,
is this revelation that the Greys are the bad guys. And when this was presented to you, when you read the script, why did this kind of strike you as a big deal? That it's we thought it's going to be these other guys, and then it turns out to be the guys that, let's face it, sometimes they're viewed as the nice guys. They're not just the proby ones. Why was this a big moment, a big revelation?
oh, it's great. It's Harry encountering another alien race. He's mentioned them before and talks about them, and he hates Greys. He's mentioned he doesn't like them. They probe you, and he talks about them being the ones who, yeah, are mostly focused on your elimination holes. I think is what he refers to them as. But uh, they stopped time. The aliens stopped time. They're very powerful. Like that's not something Harry can do. Just stop everybody at once. It's like sorcery. And so he gets out of the truck. It happens on highway, and you get that iconic uh, beam of light coming down. That taken that whole all those things we've seen, and he has a conversation with a gray, and it turns out that the Greys are the ones. They're the ones who are going to take over Earth. And of course it's also we have a great voice actor uh working on it
An
who
iconic actor, period. George
yes yeah,
Takei.
not just voice actor. He's lending his voice to it. I wanted to get him into a motion capture suit, but they said it was out of the question. I just for the Christmas card photo. But yeah, George Takei. I mean, in Syfy, you know you don't get any bigger than that.
Did
So
do you have any anecdotes or insight as to how you guys did land him for that? Was this, I mean, because certainly you've interacted with him at cons and things like that.
I haven't.
No?
I haven't. I the most I know, I've never met him. And I didn't even meet him for this, which is crazy. Here's I wanted George Takei, and our um, our producing director Robert wanted George Takei as well, and there was some discussion of some other names possibly. And I said, "Can we?" There were written lines as what needed to be said, sort of information that needed to get out with the character. And I said, we did those, and I said, "Let me just do some in case we get George Takei." And I did lines that are the ones that ended up in there about, because he says "oh my" is sort of his signature thing, "oh my" that he says. So I did a riff on, it was just me standing out in the cold on this road going, "Oh, you're what? Mine or yours? What? I'm confused. So you're saying yours? Mine. Why don't you start over again?" And then they filled in the other side of the conversation. And so that's how that worked.
It's this.
It sounds so slapdash, but it's really kind of how we do this show. It's a lot of like, we're like, "oh, it's kind of," when I say it's hard, I guess it's kind of part of it's fun because of that. It's like we're making a thing, but it's done like that. Like, I got an idea, let's try it. Can we get him? I don't know, let's go for it.
It's showbiz. It's a great moment, not just because of George Takei, but because we see Harry's species interact with another species, and that's the gray kind of comes off as a bit of a know-it-all and a dick, but also a little bit more powerful than Harry, and that puts Harry in perspective because from the viewer side of things, he has been the most powerful thing that we have seen on Earth, and now it's like, well, he may not be the big alien on campus or on planet Earth. There's bigger threats, bigger deals out there that could even be intimidating to our alien.
Yeah, no, he's scared of him. He's scared of him. Like, and every time he's referred to, he's like, they're awful, they're awful, they're awful. He's not. It's never been, "oh, don't even talk about the Greys, they scare me." It's always been, he's just sort of derogatory about them. He didn't like them, and now we see it's based in fear.
Does that give you a little bit more to play with as an actor, because this now adds another dimension to the Harry that has been on Earth and just, pretty much looking down on humans?
Yes, and it gives us where we're going to go in season 3 too. We've got a more powerful alien race that is claiming Earth, and that's Asta. That's he doesn't really care about all the humans, although he's caring more and more, bit by bit, about this group, his friends, and starting to care about his child a little bit. Still hasn't given him a name. He's going to, though. I think that's I can spoil that. It's coming. See, that was another joyful thing that we got to kind of put in. Can I name him? Can I name it?
I mean, you can name him. We'll cut it out and then save it for when it is. But
no, I don't want to know. But that's how it went. That's how it went with Chris. Can I name him? Let me name him. He doesn't have a name. I want to name him. And then I'm like, can I? And he's very generous with that. I'm like, so in this scene, I'm going to try out a name here, a name here, and a name here. And then in this scene, I'm going to try a name here and a name here. And here, and I'm going to settle on a name, and this is the name I want to settle on. And it's like, all right, cool. You got it.
Will we actually get to see that play out in episodes?
Oh, yeah, okay. No, I think it's in the final episode this season. You will see my naming process of my child, and I like naming things, so it's fun.
I do look forward to that. I do want to just shift slightly, just ask you a question about your appearance on Harlequin, because it's been a really enjoyable show, and you appear as the Joker, and we give some dimension to him, and then of course you appear as Clayface and alongside an animated James Gunn, which is surreal in real life and in animated life, because your wife choreographed the opening sequence, the title sequence of the Peacemaker show, directed and created by James Gunn. Was there any interactions with James Gunn about the choreography? Are we workshopping new Peacemaker like dance sequences? Anything to that degree?
I was recording my stuff with James while I didn't record with him, but I was recording the stuff in the scenes that played with James while Carissa, my wife, was choreographing the Peacemaker dance, opening dance. And which there was a really cool thing in Dragon Con where there was a really good Peacemaker there, and a bunch of people did the dance. Very cool. And I saw him. So the day of filming, because I was her proxy dancer, because before she worked with the cast, she taught the dance to me and choreographed it on me first. And because it was COVID days, pre-vaccine, there was really she couldn't even work with other dancers at that point. So it was me, and then it was me and other dancers, and then we all left, and it was the cast. And on the day of the cast, it was only like she only had like a few days with them. When they were filming it, I came by to watch the final filming, and James was there, and I mentioned it. I was like, "Hey, we're working together right now." What? Clayface, and he's like, "Oh yeah, all right, yeah." I love that show. He has many things going on. He was finishing up. He ended up directing so many of those episodes. And then he also, because at the beginning he wasn't, anyway, he directed many of that entire season, much of that entire season, and then went on immediately to do Guardians 3. I don't know how. I honestly do not know how he does it. I don't know how actors do that, go from project to project to project, like the big actors who do those things. But as a director and a creator and a writer, that's multiplied by so many times the job that you're taking on.
There's just such
impressive fella.
That's such irony for you to be saying that, because you're the person that when I'm like, oh, gonna go do an interview with Alan Tudyk. Oh, the guy from Resident Alien. Yeah, but also the guy from Frozen. Yeah, the guy from Firefly. Yeah, same one. Oh, Steve the Pipe. Yep, same one. So for you, of all people, I don't really think you get to say that. So
right. There's another level. There is definitely another level. I wish I could remember what he came from. Christian Bale. When I met Christian Bale, I did a movie, 310 to Yuma, with Christian. So I'm doing Doc, whoever the hell I was. The Doc who's like, guys, this is Comanche country. Everybody else is like, let's go get him. And I was like, I'm cold. So I was playing the Alan Tudyk role, but he was there, and he had just come back. Oh, no, he was going to go film. Either he just finished doing Batman. I think he just finished doing Batman with Heath, and he had like 2 days off, and then he was starting a new movie, and then he had a day off, and he was going to another one. I'm like, buddy, you're going from Bruce Wayne to the lead of another movie with Russell Crowe, where you're now, and he's English. He's not even American. He's just flipping between characters, and he's going to another big one. Anyway, that's the next level, dude.
Yeah,
he's incredible.
Well, if you'll permit me to ask about another role, and I am aware that you are not in this season of Andor as K2SO, but the question I have about K2SO is that Diego Luna just mentioned that he had, when he stepped in to do Rogue One, he had a backstory for Andor, and it just made me wonder, when you first approached K2SO, did you come up with a droid backstory for him and anything that you would at some point want to execute?
No. I mean, we used to go over it. Diego and I, like, I think the beginnings of Andor, what the prequel, like he and I used to talk about it on set. What ended up becoming Andor, like it, so there was and I think I was always pushing more for like a Tango and Cash sort of relationship, sort of like a duo. We're just out there, but we're spies. We're spies during the Empire. As far as my backstory, there was like stuff. There were some my audition scenes. There was an audition scene that I had where I had assumed, or it was told to me, that he was recently captured and reprogrammed, that he had just reprogrammed me. And we were going into this orbit of a new planet. We were approaching a planet that we had never been to before, that had a magnetic field that scrambled my circuits. And he slowed down and went faster and went like just talked a million miles a second. And there was like this whole big chunk of dialogue that I had to go through, where I was angry and vicious, and then calm and kind, and then like emotions were flying all over the place. And that was my audition. So I just kind of always took that as something that had happened at one point in the back in the past. But I don't know anything about Andor. I don't know. I know that it was originally a 5-season show, I had read, and that every season was, and it starts 5 years out from Rogue One, and that every season it was a 5-season dealy, as they say in Texas. It's like a 5-season dealy. Was going to be, each season was another year approaching Rogue One, and now it is a 2-season dealy. Announced. They changed it, and the first season takes place over 1 year, 5 years out, and then the second season is going to be 4 years up until Rogue One, all crammed into one season.
Mm-hmm.
And
well,
I don't know that I'm in it. I again, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. Well, we know that you're in Resident Alien, and having done a lot of genre work, and interacting in this intergalactic world, I guess, that has become Resident Alien. If maybe when the mothership shows up in our skies, how do you think you'd react? I mean, I sometimes think that as a nerd, as someone that's talked so much about this stuff, on some level, I'd be kind of prepared for it instead of totally losing my crap. Or maybe I would just be like, yeah, kind of expected that, and then lose my crap. I don't know. But what would Alan Tudyk's response be if the mothership shows up?
I think probably I think I'd have a big oh shit moment. That, I don't think it'll be positive. I'm not of the mind that it's a good thing. I don't think that I think we could use some saving. It would be neat, but I don't. If I think through it, like, even if powers that be were given, like, you think, like, who would get the technology, like, who would they hand it to? Just normal people, or would it go through our own system of power and government, and then they would get corrupt? It's not good. I'll just
Well,
wait to die, and I'll meet them all in heaven.
oh, do you think that's where you're going?
Can I go to alien heaven? No. Alien hell?
I,
Yes.
I don't know. I will say that I have done a lot of I have done UFO conferences similar to the ones portrayed at on
Yeah.
Resident Alien. And I've obviously done a lot of Comic Cons.
With
And
Giorgio Tsoukalos,
yes,
the man, the myth.
and doing these, talking about this topic, when you show up at those cons, it means that inevitably someone is going to accuse you of being a reptilian. Are you prepared for that when you return to the Comic-Con world, people being like, you're part of the machine, you're a reptilian?
Really?
It's going to happen.
Are reptilians nice? I mean, I don't do mean things. I thought reptilians were awful people, like they're politicians.
Well, they wear skin suits, and yeah, there are some politicians. I mean, I can think of one senator from Florida who looks like he's wearing a bad reptilian suit,
Oh yeah,
or
yeah.
bad
Oh my
human suit.
God. Yeah, the hair didn't take for sure.
No, no.
And he's oddly like one of the balder people. Like you can have just as little hair as him and still not read as hairless. That guy is reptilian. Yeah, he's lizardy.
It makes me think though that it's like a dodge. Maybe it's some other race has put it out there to pose as reptilian. Because if he was reptilian, you would think his reptilian buddies would be like, "Yo, a little too on the nose, a little too obvious."
Yeah, I wonder, does he like if he stands near, like if he stood near this, he suddenly would just become wood. He'd like suddenly blend in the background and kind of gecko or what are the ones that change their things?
Chameleon.
Chameleon. Thank you. All I got is geckos and newts in my head.
He definitely unhinges his jaw to like just eat the food. This was not a prepared question.
Well, do they think? Well, do the people at those conventions? I haven't been to a convention in so long. Comic-Con doesn't count. The one in San Diego doesn't count. Sorry, doesn't count. It's not a real con. It's a Hollywood thing. Anyway, snob opinion. Snob nerd opinion. That what do they think? Is it going to be when they come a good thing or a bad thing, or does the opinion run the gamut?
It's run the gamut based on the event I've gone to, but some people think that it's a lot of I mean, it's actors that are out there wearing the human suits that are trying to spread a message or whatever, or someone's going to say that on that show when you uttered the click clack Harry Vanderspiegel alien language, there was actually some signal in there, and then there was that scene where your eyes your eyelids closed vertically instead of horizontally or something like that.
I don't know about all that. I guess I can just tell them that's not true, but I'm
trust me.
Yeah, wow, I've been a real sleeper cell then. I've been
You've just not been activated yet.
Oh, I see.
And our guest is Alan Tudyk, resident alien, airs Wednesdays at 10. Alan, thank you for joining me.
Some places it's 9, just so you know.
Oh,
it's 10/9.
The Central.
Yeah, if you're
Central people.
Yeah, you know what it is.
I know
Central
my zones.
People, they've been the people in the 9 zone. You told them 10, they already made that. They already did the math. They're already like, he means
they figured out. Right? They know they're in the 9 zone.
They know they're getting that. They get to bed earlier. They know.
Yeah. And so 10, some places 9 Central. Thank you for joining, sir. And until next time, everyone out there, be kind, stay spooky, and keep it weird.